All right, welcome to the show. People want me to have you on for a while. Trying to think about like the origin story. So I was at Lifetime. I was running the clinic there.
Yep.
We met because I'm pretty good at getting around and trying to meet everybody in the building. And yourself and my assistant at the time, we got into doing some fight stuff there. I started coaching. I guess run that back a little bit. I used to work the bag on like Fridays after I'm done with the session. I finished Fridays a little early. I'd go work the bag a little bit, and then some people at Lifetime would come up and say, "Hey, can you coach? Can you teach? We know you've done some stuff."
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple weeks later, I've got like a group of like 10 guys in there doing stuff, and then of course they had a gymnastics room, and so we were doing stuff in there, MMA. And we're doing like 4 times a week, 5 times a week, something like that. We're getting at it.
Yeah.
And so I was able to see everybody kind of just grow so fast. I know we've done some mixed martial arts stuff out on the green in Midtown Park, which I just brought back this week.
Yeah, I saw that post.
I'm excited about that. I'll talk more about that later.
Okay.
But it's real good. Like as a coach, I feel like if I could put a feather in my cap, I think the best thing I am coaching wise is I can visualize somebody where they can be.
Right.
So is it correct that you had no fight experience before then?
No fight experience.
But you did lacrosse, right?
Yeah.
So very fit. You're working out. You're a trainer at the time, still training. But just that athletic background, I'm like, okay, we can fill in the technique and the strategy of fighting, but it's a really good canvas. I'm like, okay, we can do this.
Right.
And at the time, my assistant, Alex, one of these days I'll deep dive on that story. But he actually had some kickboxing fights. I think he played a touch of rugby, a lot of soccer. We're all around close enough to the same weight, same size.
Yeah.
And he had some kickboxing experience, some competitions. And originally, when you guys would spar, he would do better.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right.
But over time, he would come to training less. You'd come to training more. And I think one of the favorite times right before I wrapped that up and moved to another gym was when you guys sparred and you were just getting him.
Yeah.
And basically, you fighting him looked like me fighting him. And I was like, yes, that's what.
That was a super cool thing, even for me, because I vividly remember the first time I sparred with you guys. I would do a jab and then a body shot, a power body shot. It's the only thing I threw.
Mhm.
Didn't have shin pads, anything like that. I couldn't throw a kick, footwork, blocking, none of it. So then that final spar was really cool. Got to take him down, land some blows. So,
Look good.
Yeah.
Phase 1 of fighting or any sport probably is if you hit the thing you worked on, awesome.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is the person that you taught hitting what you showed. Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah.
You see that in kids, you see that in just in all levels, and fantastic. Yeah, it was real good. Now I transitioned over to Fight Flow. I moved things over there. The entire time we were in the gymnastics room, so you have the gymnastics floor. You have it's like a carpeted floor, so we're wearing sweatpants when you like rug burns and stuff.
Right.
There's some mats there, but I'm always wanting a cage. I know we were upstairs and doing more of striking. I was actually impressed that no injuries, no problems, no one fell on anybody else upstairs. We were just wild up in Lifetime.
We were, surprisingly, because our group was a little
wild,
little out there.
I think the more, if you look at it and think about it, you'll realize how much I really
Contained it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a culture aspect, but also just the physicality aspect of just like, because you don't want to squash out all of the crazy of your fighters. That's why fighters are fighters. That if you smush that out, you're losing something.
Right.
But how can we create an environment that we got to minimize injuries, we got to minimize risk, we got to make sure that we're not getting shut down everywhere we go, et cetera,
Right.
and just being smart about that. But it was good. It was fun. When I was in the clinic there, the number one thing people asked me about whether they wanted to get involved or they wanted their kids to get involved was the program.
Right.
And originally, when clinic kind of heard about it, like, what is he doing? But my numbers were so good, and if your numbers are good and you're not getting complaints, any company is basically gonna let you do whatever you want.
Right.
Because Lifetime, the clinic, to my knowledge, and I look back through their stats, had been dead for 7 years. They had 7 doctors over 7 years and just dead stats the whole time, when I feel like Raleigh was a strong location. But the key to that for me was just having fun.
Yeah.
Doing stuff I want to do, meeting people in an authentic way, not going up and, hey, have you been to the clinic? Like,
Right.
that already kind of does something versus just like, hey, what are you into? We're doing this, we're doing that, putting it out there.
Right.
But okay, so transitions to Fight Flow, looking for mats, getting over there. That's when I left Lifetime.
Yep.
So you were there, you were about to start a new thing. You want to chat about that a little bit?
It didn't happen. Oh, I guess it did happen right around when you left. Was up there for like 2 weeks before you left, or something like that.
Yeah, I left the clinic at Lifetime. You started being a trainer there.
Yeah.
That ran for a period of time. You can go into that if you want, or you can talk about the new stuff that you're doing right now or working on.
Yeah, I'm just doing. I worked at Lifetime for like 5 years. Was in the kids department mostly. Transferred to personal training for a little less than a year. Did some good things there. Learned a lot. Now I'm just kind of branching out on my own, trying to start my own personal training business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna plug myself on your pod really quick.
Yeah,
but if you guys need a personal trainer, shoot Gavin a message. He'll send you my information. So
yeah. If you remind me, if you message me, I'll tag your social stuff, whatever you want on the video. Just text me.
Sweet.
The number one thing that comment I would get is when you started training, I thought it was a great handoff because parents would come by and be like, hey, my kid's getting ready for that college age. I want him to look like him. Right. So if you know how to look like you can bring someone there. Right. And then, of course, in the fight gym, people, joking around is part of it. But the comments are always like, oh, what is he doing? Right. And I'm like, well, he's right there. Go talk to him. Right. So definitely, we'll link the socials. If you want to look like Jarod, I feel like Jarod would be the one to tell you how to look like Jarod.
Right.
So
right.
That's the way to do it. I've known you for a long enough time. Good to hang around with. I got no complaints. I was very comfortable sending patients off. Once patients left the clinic and they were good to go back in participation, I was very comfortable sending people up there or just like dropping names if they have like kids, etc. Do you have any sort of like niche that you prefer to train? Is it just anybody? You like a sports background, an age group, just whatever?
No, just whoever.
All's good?
Whoever. All's good, yeah.
Right on. Okay, let's see. So that's kind of the origin story. We'll jump into the fights in a minute. Before we go there, I think a lot of people, especially because most of the people watching this are going to be from the fight people that I know, don't know all the creative stuff that you do. So we talked about the personal training, we talked about the fighting. What other creative stuff like acting, streaming, etc.?
Yeah, I don't do any streaming. I have a Twitch account. I never use it. My friends are a little bit rambunctious, so you know how that is.
Because I thought you were streaming that shooter game, the team shooter thing.
Yeah, the Destiny raid. So there was a raid in the video game called Destiny. We have a little group. We went in there for like 3 days. We were stuck on I think the second encounter. And we just never got it done. But yeah, I didn't put it up. I was kind of nervous of what people would say. So.
Don't spend time worrying about that.
No.
Like if you go do something and it's dumb, embrace the dumb and just do whatever you want to do.
Take it for what it is, right?
Yeah. If you ever spend time thinking about like, oh, people are going to think it's this or that, don't even worry about that. Right. Because you have a good character, you're not going to act in a way that's going to get you in trouble. Right. It's not going to be like a misstep. It's going to be people going like, oh, that didn't hit or did hit or whatever. Okay, then a week later to laugh at it and be like, yeah, that was something.
That was stupid, right?
But it usually leads into a good story. Yeah. That's what I kind of think about with the fighting too. People might be apprehensive to like take a mock fight, whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to put you in a situation where you're like going to the hospital. Right. So go jump in there and make things happen because you'll have more stories, a year down the road or 10 years down the road than otherwise.
Absolutely.
And just have fun with it. Because I did streaming when I was in Mexico.
I remember you telling me about that.
I was streaming a little phone game, and I was apprehensive. I didn't want to put my face on it or my name on it because when I came back to the States, I didn't know if I was going to interview for a job at a hospital and they're going to Google deep dive me. Right. And this was right around the time where PewDiePie said some things online that caused the adpocalypse.
Right.
He dropped some words online that were not great, and literally YouTube advertising completely changed. Because all these advertisers are like, wait, is there a chance that my advertisement can get on a video where someone does this or does that? And that changed. So my fear, because I could be in the same boat as you, was like, oh, I don't want to put anything out because what if? So for that example, I didn't have my name on it, didn't have my face on it. But just, it was pandemic. I'm stuck in Mexico City, nothing to do. But I would get 100 average viewers on Twitch every day, and my Friday would be 300. And I'm streaming a phone game that no one's heard about. Right. So what I tried, one, it was fun, it's pandemic, but also I try to learn things on that so that if I want to advertise, like my Cairo business, or if I want to advertise the fight or something, I can basically learn a little bit of marketing skills. Right. How to get your stuff out there, how to market, how to present content, have a little fun.
Right. What's going to hit and what's not.
It's kind of where we are now, a little bit with what we're doing. So socials will be on there. What about the acting? Commercials, etc. What are you doing with that?
I did. So I'm still doing that. So I have an agent. They're down in Atlanta. I booked one commercial. They cut me out of it.
No.
I was in a Harris Teeter commercial. I was there all day, pretty much 12 hours.
Yeah.
So 8 to 8 in Charlotte, NC. There all day. Got completely cut from it. The one part that they did keep is just my hands. And I'm putting like a turkey sub down on the platter. Didn't even get put on the air. So
I was hoping it would make the air, because that way the next time I get you in one of these fights, I can put like the hand model. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Yeah. Dude, if I could be in a commercial, because like we were watching some sort of like documentary about like how the commercial money used to be or still is like stupid good.
Yeah.
Like Flo from the whatever she does, or Jarod before he got the other Jarod.
Yeah.
We won't go there, but like, dude, I would be like hemorrhoid cream, something warts, like all the terrible commercials. Like, dude, sign me up. Like, if you can't get it up in the morning, here's what you need. And yeah. Okay, how much effort are you putting into that? And then are you also doing like your own content? You get together with friends and like make TikToks or do stupid stuff? Like,
so no TikToks. Me and my buddies actually had an idea to start our own podcast. It's called Personally. So we would review like new games that come out. Or we have a buddy of mine, his name's Jay, lives in California. He makes montages of the video games that we all play together. So an idea was we review those videos, make some laughs, maybe 10 minutes long, and just post it. But that hasn't taken off yet. So, have you started doing stuff at all? No. I would say don't wait until you're ready to do it. Just try to do it. Like, look at us. We got little stands, this, that, whatever. Yeah. As soon as you're getting reps in, you're going to start getting better. Then the idea of where you want to go is going to develop as well. So like, I'll look back on this city here and be like, oh God, the lighting was harsh and horrible and this and that and whatever. It'll get better over time. Sure. But if you don't get moving, that's like being like, oh, I don't want to wait to work out or lift until I can bench 300s. Like, bro, you're never gonna like go in there and go get the pink weights and get moving and have some fun. The bad part about that is like there's 3 of us, so getting us all into the same chat. When no one has to get up and go and do something or whatever it may be. Yeah, that's kind of the part that's been difficult. If it wouldn't cause group drama, I think you would just kind of schedule down whatever, and whoever can make it. And then once you guys are having more fun, then they're like, oh, I need to get there kind of stuff, or maybe rotate somebody. It becomes more of a priority. Yeah, just make it happen. I don't know if you want to be like the shot caller of something like that, but like you throw it down. If they don't make it, you go solo. Right. And if one can make it, cool. If 2 can make it, this and that. But just get doing all the things. I've actually had a lot of iterations of stuff that I want to do. It just kind of depends. So when I left Lifetime, I started my own gig with Cairo, where instead of working for a company and only keeping like, a third or a fourth of what I bring in, I need to see less people because I keep what I bring in. But sometimes I'll be more busy than I was before. It's the whole thing. Like when you start your own business, you go like, well, I'm not working a 9 to 5 anymore. So now I work all the time, right? Kind of vibes. Yeah. And I'm always doing a lot of things. I do the acro thing. I do the fighting thing. I'm kind of a little bit busy for gaming right now about doing this. Trying to figure out how to get all that stuff going at the same time. But I had some iterations as far as, like I'm starting a Cairo channel right now. I have filmed about 20 models. I just literally walk around North Hills. Anybody who I'm like, if I saw someone, I'm like, if I put them in a video, they would get clicks. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just walk by and just like, hey, have you modeled before? Yeah. And half of them were like, oh yeah, I have. I do. Okay, well, do you want to model for a Cairo video, just like on YouTube? I'm like, oh yeah. And so they get a free visit, I get a video, etc. If they want to come back, I see them a bunch of times. So now I'm going to build up that, and that'll be another thing. So we're doing a lot of stuff. I want to make that more polished though. I want to make it look. I don't want to make it look like, hey, it's home videos with Dr. Cairo guy. Yeah. Trying to make that one look good. And they're very competitive. If you watch like the Cairo YouTube videos, the lighting is good, the angles are good, the sound isn't scuffed. I was like, I need to not look like a schmuck. Right. But the reason I got into all that is attached to that will be some Cairo related stuff, whether it's patient education or just like pearls of wisdom or just talking about the industry kind of stuff, stuff that they don't teach you in school, that kind of bit. And then I've had some people approach me about doing no like big professionals, but people approach me that want to do like health related shows, like. Nice. Something comes in the headlines, you don't understand exactly what the science of it is, and I can kind of like cut through the shit and be like, this is what this means, this is this new med, this is what's good, like those GLP-1 inhibitors and like pros and cons and all that kind of stuff.
So it could happen. Or I'll just go like Tim Dillon and just start ranting about how crazy everything is in the news. I don't know. But anything before we jump into your fights?
I was going to ask you about what games you're playing right now.
Right now, I have no time to do anything extra like that. So on my phone, I have Monster Hunter Now, which is made by the same people that did Pokemon Go.
Oh, okay.
I was never into Pokemon, but right at my last year of grad school, 2017, it came out and everybody's playing this thing. So I didn't download it on day one. Everyone's like bugging me, like, whatever. And then it was just literally so big that on day two, I downloaded it. And since I was at the beach, there's monsters everywhere. It's a whole big deal, etc. But it's just something to do because a lot of times in the clinic, you're just waiting for patients to come in. So you're literally just sitting on your butt. All the classes are done. There's nothing to study. You've taken all your national boards. You're just chilling or helping somebody. And so we started playing that a little bit.
Gotcha.
And then when I moved out of Florida to Texas, just whatever, forgot about it. And then in Texas, I found some people they were doing a little bit. Okay, something to do. I'm waiting for this, waiting for that. But as far as something to do on the phone, some sort of content, whatever. Before I was playing this little like phone game, 2D, whatever. Just you go through dungeons and kill stuff.
Right.
But basically, the phone stuff was just for you're on the go, you're busy, whatever. Because I used to have this, I still do now, but this beefy computer, big computer. I built it myself. I built 3 computers. It's the most recent one, although it's 10 years old now, with like the 3 monitors, like the whole nerd setup.
Yeah.
But when I was in Mexico for a year, it was in storage in Florida for the whole year. And I got it out. I've had it for a bit now, but I'm just too busy to sit in front of it.
Gotcha.
So right now I use it for editing. But if I had a ton more time, I played Diablo for the new Diablo for a week, but I got busy. Also, they kind of scuffed it a little bit. I had high expectations, but the new Blizzard.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. I like group stuff. If I had time, the game that you were talking about, Destiny. Someone else at there, one of the guys who also had a show. I'm trying to remember his name, but he was big into that, and he had a podcast with a bunch of friends.
Oh, no way. Okay.
I'm sure I'll remember his name as soon as the pod's over, but they were doing it. And I like that kind of stuff. Like I like group content. You got, different roles, this and that, raids, that kind of stuff. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm probably at the age where PvP, where like your Twitch reactions are starting to get a little like, I'll be sparring and like I'll see a shot that I would have hit when I was just a little bit younger.
Right.
Some of that's rust. Some of that's like, oof. We ain't firing as fast. I need a little caffeine or something. So stuff like that. But right now, just the phone game's nice because if I'm waiting, let's say someone messaged me like I have a patient coming here, like, hey, I didn't know traffic was this bad. I'll be there in 30 minutes.
Right.
I'll just open it up, and we're in North Hills, so it's fun. If I had ample time, I would be more into it, but that's where we're at.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Let's jump into these. All right, so before we get into this was part of the fight was scuffed because the internet went out, so I lost my live stream, so we had to use the security footage and fix it. And I think part of the fight was still good, and I was able to kind of patch some of this stuff together. But so this is your first time in mock fights. This is what, mock fight 2, I think?
Yep,
mock fights 2. You hadn't been with us for a while. I think you kind of got busy, so you weren't into the fight class as much. With you, I know that if you're missing fight classes because you're busy, you're doing stuff, you had such a high attendance rate before. And I knew, also, I think you're maybe doing more bodybuilding here. Because I definitely was wondering, I was like, how is that going to affect him? Is he going to feel heavy and, have a fatigue issue? The cardio is not going to be there because you haven't sparred in a while. Because I think it's been like maybe 2 months or more before you sparred.
Oh, yeah.
You're fighting Zach here. He is a pretty good grappler.
Yep.
He had been in and out a little bit because I think he's going to like massage school. So he's got a little rust on him. You guys are pretty close in size. I'd give him an advantage if it was just a grappling match. If it's an MMA match, I'd give you an advantage. But as of right now, cardio, we'll tell that story as we get there. So talk to me. What's going on? How you feeling?
Nervous. I remember it vividly. I was super nervous just because I'd never been like in the situation of fighting where everyone's staring at you, which is the whole point, right?
That's why we do this.
Joe, before it started, he was like, do not let him take you down.
Joe was your corner?
Joe was my corner.
So on that, honestly, if he took you to an MMA, I feel like you would have the skills to get up unless fatigue was a factor.
Right.
So I think that put you a little bit too, he's like blue belt-ish, etc.
Okay.
I think it put you a little too tentative to be worried about it.
Probably.
But if he took Joe down, Joe's got a problem.
Right.
So continue. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah, he was throwing a lot of body shots. as we continue to go through this, I catch majority of them. There was another one right there, and that sweep was just there.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, I'm just moving away because I don't want to get wrapped up in that.
Keep in mind, it's actually super hot in this, and if you guys can see in the video, I'm wearing a shirt and sweats, and I've completely sweated through my shirt. It was actually super hot in the gym that day, which could be a factor on the cardio. Because I'm just walking around.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know that your hair was this long at the time. I would have told you to get like a hair tie or something because that could be a factor.
Yeah, my barber has been gone for months, and I just don't know where that man's at.
I thought you were just doing a look, whatever. But I would say in the future, maybe get some sort of like top knot, man bun, whatever.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Because we'll talk about that definitely in the next fight. Beautiful. Beautiful. The sweeps were great. I didn't know he told you to completely stay away from grappling. Honestly, if I was coaching you, I would have told you after the sweep, just jump into mount, get on top, and then cruise and pace yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Your rate was so good. I know that you're spending a lot of energy on this. I was really worried about you kind of blowing your energy out, blowing your wad, and then having issues later on. But as a ref, I don't say shit.
Right. Which, at the time of this first round, I feel okay. I feel fine in this moment.
That's how it happens.
When I sit down and you kind of go back to reality for a second, I'm like I'm huffing and puffing.
Did they have ice? I think I had ice for every fight.
We did, yeah.
Were they icing you?
Yes, we stripped the tee after this round.
Was it me that told you to pull the tee?
Yes.
Yeah. It's easy for me to forget a lot of things. I wanted this to be kind of as close to as fight as possible. Also, the ice to be more effective. And now you ventilate so much heat. People don't understand. Like when you spar, you don't really feel it as much.
Mm-hmm.
When it's a fight or a mock fight, the heat coming off the body is such a huge factor. Like most people, when I tell them about the ice, they say, "Oh, I don't want it." They put the ice on and they go, "Oh, thank God, this is the best thing ever."
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute my commentary out here. I forgot I did a voiceover on this. But what is it? Still first round?
Still first round.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So that's time on the first round. This is right when everything gets scuffed.
There it goes.
And I believe we jump into the next footage. It all works out. Okay. So Joe's in the corner. How's this going?
I'm heavy breathing, mouth breathing.
You got your mouthpiece out yet?
Yeah. I think that was like one of the first things that I did.
Yep. Mouthpiece out. Sit up tall, open that chest up, all the things that you would tell someone that you're training, but open the chest up, get more air in the lungs, and also pull in through the nose, out through the mouth, hit that reset button.
Yeah.
You find how fast that minute just disappears like nothing, man. Like nothing.
I think we were late getting to the start these last two rounds.
Could have been. It's probably just me. Before, I would have people run the clock, and then now when I do it, I have the clock in my hand.
Yeah.
Half of that's because my old man eyes, I can't just see that far and like squint and stuff. But people are good at kind of telling me the times during the round, but like in between the rounds, people forget you're chatting, you're this and that, you know.
Right.
But that might have been equal benefit in here.
So right there, Joe was just telling me, good first round, whatever.
Do it again.
Do it again. Little does he know that I'm exhausted and I'm struggling. I mean, you can see it. Like even my feet have just completely gone flat. I've got no gas in the tank anymore.
Yeah. So I'd say hide the eyebrows more, get those hands up there.
Yeah.
He's actually got an interesting jab. Like it's not the fastest jab, it's not the longest jab, although he does have good reach. But it's like almost a little bit off time, and it does hit.
It rolls off of his shoulders unnaturally, I want to say.
Yeah,
it comes very smooth.
Yeah, it's interesting. If he would be able to put some time into that, I feel like we could do something with it. I just messaged him about how we moved the fights out to the green, so hopefully he'll be able to get in the mix.
Sweet.
He's got a weird schedule because he's doing a massage school, so I feel like having a loose schedule where there's no monthly fee might actually work in with him, and that'll be pretty good.
Right.
Good to have out there. So when you're tired, because it definitely happens, you need to find ways to make it not so obvious. So instead of shooting, maybe fake a lot. Instead of throwing the punch, maybe fake the punch, kind of not letting them know. Yeah. One thing that mentally would always help me is if I'm tired, I assume they're equally or more tired, and that kind of gives me a little more gas to get at it. Because there is an emotional, psychological aspect to it. Like, I was listening to somebody talk about like the physiology of being tired. Mm-hmm. If let's say you and I played the Super Bowl against each other. Your team won, my team lost. We both had pretty much the same energy expenditure, but your locker room's jumping up and down, champagne, having parties, women, etc., the whole deal. Yeah. And my locker room, we're exhausted. We can barely move. but we spent the same energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can find ways to kind of turn on that emotional side to pull more energy out of it and hit that switch. All right. So it's a little bit slower. He's been a little more cautious. He obviously doesn't want to get thrown on his butt too much. I was surprised that he wasn't able to get any jits off his back when he was thrown. That was pretty interesting. I don't remember if this was the flurry or if it was a later flurry where I was actually watching pretty close. You guys aren't hitting hard enough to TKO anybody, so I'm not worried about injury. So I don't stop anything. If someone throws a submission and gets a tap, I'll stop it. But I can't remember if this was the moment where I was watching pretty close. I'm like, do I?
I think it's a little closer to where my corner is. I think
so. Right here.
I think it's right here. Yeah.
But this is round 2. Was it in round 2 or was it round 3 where it got super close?
I can't remember.
There we go. You keep sweeping on the outside. I know I did a separate video kind of talking about the technique on that. Might as well mention it now. So if you catch the leg, I would rather you kick the backside of their leg, hamstring and calf.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safer sweep. It's better for their knee. But also, if you kick outside towards the shin guard, if he jumps and checks it, that's a hard check on you.
Okay.
So if you're putting your foot there as a trip, that's the end of round 2. If you put your foot outside as a trip, that works out. But if you throw it as a kick, I mean, that's their shin side, that's their check side. And a lot of guys are going to check you or possibly tweak on the knee.
Gotcha.
That's also Devin. I think he's going to get in the mix with us out there. When Johnny, I don't know if you heard about this, but the Muay Thai guy, he left the gym and kind of opened up and did his own thing. They were kind of, he was taking his guys to fights. He was doing weekend practices. You can kind of see that he was getting ready to do his own thing once he hit a critical mass.
Right.
So maybe 20 of the Muay Thai guys from Fight Flow ended up kind of going off and doing their thing, which makes sense. You know, they were showing up for him. He's gone. They stay with that. I was wondering if Devin was going to go with them, but I think he's either at Elevate or something like that. I think he was making a big commute to get here.
Gotcha.
But anyways, I think he's going to get in with us in the future. But
yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
We want to see more of him. I was just sending a message the other day. So that was the end of round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Round 3 is coming up. How are you feeling going into this? Because you were tired of round 2.
Awful. Absolutely awful. Yeah, you made a point earlier. I was doing a lot of bodybuilding and absolutely zero cardio. So
you felt the difference.
I felt a big difference.
Keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep it going.
One thing I've noticed about myself is that, which is a terrible habit, is I stand in one place when I get exhausted, which I know is common, but again, trying to circle out. But he just keeps coming forward.
You can see the confidence build a little bit. He's realizing he's got some reach. He's able to use it.
Yeah.
If you go straight back, you're going to have that circling like you're seeing a little bit is going to help. Keeping those hands up. Either faking offense can keep him from just walking you down, but that's what he's using, that long jab. He's walking you down. He's trying to get you towards the cage. A little bit of confidence building because he had the worst round 1 of anybody. That was intense. But he's been doing open mats. He's been coming maybe once a week, every other week or so.
Right.
Good knees, good control on the knees. Were you blocking those elbows? Were any of that getting through? He's not throwing super hard, super fast.
I can't remember, to be honest.
Fair enough. I like that he was very cautious and in control with those knees. I'm going to try to get people to wear pads in the future. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of experience throwing those. And so I like that. I'm seeing zero offense from you. That front kick's coming through. That front kick looked like it hit. Starting to walk you down a little bit.
Yeah, it was getting bad. It was almost like my mind was just blank. It was just survive. You know?
Yeah. Move and breathe. Sometimes that's the answer.
I think that might have been the flurry that you were talking about.
Maybe
I should stop it.
Yeah, but I'm like, they're not going to get injured and let them go. Because I want to let you guys be in situations where you have to battle through something. Like, if I stopped it, do you get better? Do this or that. Also, I talked to him later. He was kind of pinning you there and kind of giving you space to get off. He didn't know that that he should have just kept going.
Gotcha.
And so maybe as long as you're not giving anybody CTE, tag the body, work. Because you're getting more of a workout and then it gives you something to work through. But the fatigue is definitely on both sides. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I just saw his hands drops a bit and then he tweaked his knee.
Little tweak. He's definitely back in action. I think this kind of had him strained for 2 weeks or so. We talked a lot before and after. And so what happened is you caught the leg and you threw that outside kick like I talked about. He tried to jump right before. We're going to see it again here. Maybe this is when I talk about the technique of it. Maybe it runs back.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are the earlier sweeps.
Yeah.
In round 1, but here he tries to jump, maybe going for that check I was talking about.
Oh,
and just
possibly.
wrong time, nothing dirty about it, etc. But just like just things happen, bad timing, etc. And then you both have the fatigue on, so it's just kind of hard to control everything.
Yeah.
Your joints aren't going to move as fast as they would, and so you can always avoid this if you do a backside kick. So, like I said, he was trained for about 2 weeks, but he was also super busy. He ended up getting into the next mock fight, mock fight 3 or mock fight 4. He came back, and after this, he actually started training with us more often.
Nice.
I think I forced him out of my class and just to do the boxing classes for like a week, and then he got back with us. And I was going to let him do either mock fights 3 or 4 if he could do lunges on both sides. And so, long story short, he's good, just a little tweak. But in the future, kick that calf, you'll have a higher success rate.
All right.
So he's good. We'll be seeing more of him in the future. I do plan on getting Zach on the pod so he can talk about his things. But before we jump into this one, if you had to judge that last round, who do you think won?
I mean, he probably took that last round.
Assuming you haven't judged the fight.
Oh, the entire fight?
The entire fight, yeah.
I think I won the fight personally, but I'm a little biased.
Of course. I've actually I don't spend a lot of time thinking about this because we'll add it in the future, like having judges and this and that. The win and loss is less important in a mock fight than like, did people get better? Do you have something to work on? Do you have a reason to train next month?
Yeah.
So I honestly don't spend a lot of time on it. But sometimes I sit back and I'm like, if I was judging this, how would I like that I'm neutral, that I don't have to care about it.
Right.
I think that the first round could have been a 10-8 round. Just because, I mean, it was honestly one of the best first rounds that we've seen, period. Just tons and tons of like 4, maybe more sweeps. It was huge.
Yeah.
How much work you did, the showing of the skill. If I was coaching, I would have had you jump on top a couple times and, into good positions, not get too risky or get wrapped up and maybe do more with it. Cause we look about, throwing someone down is awesome, but like how close was it to finishing a fight, to setting something up? I wouldn't tell you to go for any submissions. I'd just say, get a top position that you can hold, get some damage in there, damage in air quotes, because we're going light.
Right.
But the first round was so good. The second round was fairly neutral. I could give him an edge for doing more. It wouldn't have been a 10, it'd be like a 10-9. And then the last round, so it's close. I'll leave it up to the people in the comments. Feel free to say who won. But honestly, I don't know. And every time I do these matches for the fights, the goal, obviously I'm trying to match up everybody that we have there on that day, but the goal is to set a fight up where, like, I don't know how it's going to go. Right. Is somebody going to choke? Is somebody going to gas? Are we going to see this and that technique?
Right.
So for me, it did all those things. It checked the boxes real good. And I was like, I guarantee you're going to go home and do cardio and figure something out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I then took a month off from fighting. I've lost almost 10 pounds. Yeah. And then it pays off in this fight.
What cardio did you do? So that was mock fights 2. This is mock fights 4. What cardio did you do before then?
I was going out to my dad's house. My dad lives out in Durham, and he's got this long, just strip of grass right by a 2-lane road, and he's got 100 yards marked out there with just spray paint in the grass. Mm-hmm. So I was doing down
flat.
Yeah, flat. So I would do down and back, and minute rest. I would do it 10 times. So. And I was doing that 2-3 times a week. So
how much time would that whole workout take?
Hour.
Yeah.
Hour 10. Maybe.
Yeah. I like stuff like that. I like there's general and there's specific. So general is, some hill sprints, some flat sprints, some whatever bike, etc., whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
You can just do sprints, or you can do like a 20-second sprint, a 10-second rest, and cycle that a bunch. That's Tabatas for anybody who's familiar with that. Any of that general stuff is good. And then if we do fight stuff, specifically if you don't have a partner, but you have like a heavy bag, you could do a Tabata on a standing up heavy bag. You can do Tabata on a ground where you're just throwing punches or elbows, 20 seconds go, 10 seconds rest. I think 6 cycles of that is a 3-minute round. So if we're gonna mirror the 3-minute rounds of an amateur fight, Tabata on the bag is a lot of that content on the video, stuff like that. But you said you did it twice a week for...
About a month. Yeah.
And you felt the difference in the next one?
A big difference.
It's crazy.
Majority of it you feel in just the fatigue of your leg, right? So in that first fight, my legs are super heavy, not really standing on the balls of my feet anymore, super sluggish. In here, I mean, we go to the ground a lot, but I had the energy to go to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
which it was super nice to have and not.
You said you lost 10 pounds. Was a lot of that muscle, water? What are we talking?
Probably like half water, half fat, to be honest.
Pretty good.
I try to keep protein intake relatively the same as what it was when I was trying to get bigger.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to lose some muscle when you try and cut out weight anyway.
Typically in a cut, if we're not focused on the hydration part of it, you'll have like 1/3 of the cut be lean tissue, which is hard to avoid. You can do, high protein, branched chains aminos, etc. You were still lifting during this time.
Yeah.
So those are basically all the boxes that I know that you can check, but still at the same time cut weight. We won't get into it, but like with the Ozempic and all those drugs that are coming right now, the GLP-1 inhibitors, the issue with those guys is that you'll have 2/3 of it will be lean tissue. Yeah. And if we talk about older people, that becomes an issue because like the last thing you want is grandma or grandpa to lose any muscle at all because the factors get real bad on that. But if you're lifting, you're active, you can mitigate that. Definitely good to hear. Any comments before we jump into the Abe fight?
No.
Let's get there. So I have worked with him only a couple times. He would come to different classes, his schedule would change, etc. He's very long. I have to guess he's probably around 170. So what are you weighing in this?
208.
208. Yeah. He's maybe 170, maybe a little bit more. I give him advantage on height for sure, but also for reach. Yep. And his kickboxing is actually quite good. Yeah. Now, I trained with him once or twice before this because I mentioned him the mock fights. He's like, oh yeah, let me get it in. Yep. So you know what I would do with you is I'd go one-on-one and I would just like put you in positions and talk while I'm fighting you. Yeah. I did that with him. I did some here I'm going for a basic takedown, teach him how to circle, keep his jabs going. Because like anybody that fights you, they're going to realize very quick that you're one of the better strikers. Yeah. But here we are on top.
Yep. So everybody and their mother told me to take him down before this fight started.
He frustrates everybody there with his striking.
Yeah. I don't have a good habit of moving forward and getting in close on people. Mm-hmm. I like to counter strike, and when I have an opponent that has longer arms and legs than I do, it's very hard for me to do that.
He'd be a great training partner for you, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Were you really going for this armbar, or were you just mixing it up?
No, I was really going for the armbar, but I didn't. I think I'd try it again later, but I didn't have enough momentum to swing to get my other half around.
Yeah. It's also, I don't know how many armbars you've thrown in these thick-ass leg guards or shin guards, but it makes it much more difficult. Yeah. You can still do it, but something to think about. Yeah. I don't know if this was the point where I kind of gave you a little verbal cue of just like, do something, mix it up. Because obviously I don't want to stop the fight, but I want to be entertaining for both of you guys. Yeah. And also want to give you opportunity to get fatigued. I think he was beautiful with that. For you to hit that on him, since he's such a weird striker, was a significant. And then to hear good control, I like it. You're putting him in positions where he's going to get better from this. He needs to get this. I think he was probably even getting frustrated in the striking. Not frustrated, but just like you kind of feel like you plateau a little bit. Yeah. Doing so well that this is such a good eye-opening moment for him to realize, oh, there's a whole other part of the game. We just unlocked a whole new level that you haven't been to.
Absolutely.
And so we're here. Yeah. Don't know how good his corner was doing as far as telling him what to do. I want to find opportunities where I can coach the cornerman.
I don't know the name of the cornerman. Mm-hmm. Big jiu-jitsu guy.
Josh?
Not physically big, but he's usually doing jiu-jitsu.
I might see it when we cut or something.
Yeah, probably. But he was
your corner.
What's that?
He was cornering you.
Yeah, he was cornering Abe.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yep. As far as I know.
But I mean, he was telling him to get his hips out and kind of to bridge.
Yeah, good.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if he's had any jits classes other than what he did with me. And I didn't have time to teach him the whole trap and roll or the elbow escape. I literally just taught him just shove their hips away and push to one side and just get your butt out.
Absolutely.
So what's that, the end of round 1 or round 2?
End of round 1.
All right, end of round 1. Here we go.
My cornerman is not there.
Yeah, I noticed that. A couple times, like, what the hell's going on? He's like, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Just don't jab too much.
Yeah. So just same game plan, pretty much. So I kind of figured out why I couldn't check a kick, is I'm super heavy on this front foot. Kind of got it there, but not really.
A little bit, yeah. He's getting outside.
Yeah.
If you know that shin guard there, he would have been slapping that nerve, so that calf kick or something. Yeah, he's killing that.
Yeah.
I liked it.
He throws like a double leg kick. I think
Mm-hmm.
That's
Don't reach if it's
so irritating.
If it's below your shorts, don't reach.
Yeah.
But if you guys both didn't have shin guards on, that could have been enough to make your leg heavy and just completely calf.
Oh yeah, it was doing it through the shin pad.
Did you feel it through?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And he wasn't throwing too hard or anything like that. That was pretty good. He might actually have one of the best calf kicks I've seen in a while. Since I'm lefty, I don't have to deal with it as much.
Right.
So I forget about it. And then in my time when I was competitive, nobody threw that shit.
So here I am screwing up the armbar again. Part 2.
Yeah, since it's been a while, super rusty on it.
Yeah.
I was just happy that it looked like an armbar.
Yeah, you told me to focus here because you were laughing at my armbar. I started cracking up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like you letting him up. I like, going for the challenge. I told anybody, because some people are like, oh, are you going to do the mock fights? I was like, if I do it, I will either finish somebody in 30 seconds or I'll make it stupid boring.
Right.
Just because. Just to kind of keep that, coach distance on people.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's important. We are in there to get better, and at the same time, if I go in there and I squash him and I throw a full tempo armbar or a head triangle or Kimura or whatever it is, he doesn't learn anything.
Yeah, it's a waste of both y'all's time.
Absolutely.
Now the hair flips.
Yeah.
So
I knew that one was going.
It's a situation. This is hair flip gate. First off,
he's gonna almost clock me.
He was starting to. If he was more aggressive, I think he was giving you space and being kind of polite. If we were sparring, every time you flipped, I would have jabbed you straight.
You would have.
Even Ja was kind of back like every time he flips the hair, get him.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. So you get some sort of top knot, some sort of situation.
Yeah.
Get it handled. But if you have to flip the hair, you got to get out of striking range. So give a good distance, deal with the hair, figure it out. We're using that cage. Go for a little foot sweep. I like it. I like it because it's a low effort, something worth checking. The foot sweep.
Yeah.
You're not gonna exhaust yourself, but you might get something. What are we going for here? We got the arms wrapped up.
I try and get this arm drag.
Yeah. Drop Sanagi.
Yeah.
One of the first videos I put up on the channel.
Yeah. Terrible.
Did it work? It's not that terrible.
I mean, it did, but.
And boxing gloves? I'll take it. Would it work on anybody else?
Probably not.
I wish I had more time with him, and hopefully, as I've moved the class out to back to North Hills, maybe he'll be able to get in more, and we can see some development on him. Oh, it was Wes. Was it Wes that was coaching you?
Wes was my coach.
I was actually impressed with him this night. I'm going to try to get him on the podcast pretty soon here, now that I've kind of got my tech set up where it's going to be for a while.
Yeah.
But round 3, how's the fatigue feeling? You look a lot different than you did in the first fight.
Feel a lot better. I mean, even though I have the shirt on, you can definitely tell that I'm a lot lighter. I'm trying to
sick,
trying to stay a little lighter on that front foot too, so I can get my leg up.
Beautiful leg kicks.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Can't get mad at it.
I was wondering if he was going to turn up the gas a little bit, hoping that you spent some energy later in the rounds.
Yeah,
that's Richie.
Oh, Richie. Okay.
Yeah. He used to coach at different gyms, and he comes up on the open mat.
Gotcha. I'm gonna throw a feint there. I didn't throw a single leg kick, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You reach it a lot. That's just the rust because you've only been around, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But don't reach for anything that's below your shorts.
Yeah.
Because if you got to reach for it, it's not yours anyway. So just check those. Because what he should have done is faked low and went high, and that would have been something.
Which, if I ever go against Jaw, I cannot reach for that leg kick because he will clobber me.
Yeah. Have y'all sparred? Y'all sparred before?
Yeah, we've light sparred.
Yeah.
At like a fight night or whatever.
He wasn't at the last Friday MMA, but he's going to be in the next one. He was out of town. Gotcha. But he's going to bring some friends. He got banned from Fight Flow.
Jaw did?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, what if he cracked somebody or something like that? To my knowledge, members can bring a +1. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a class, you'll have to pay a drop-in fee. That's standard, and that makes sense. And to my understanding, he was paying drop-in fees. He would just come to the Fridays because when the other coach left, etc., he didn't want to be a member anymore. Gotcha. So he would just do a drop-in fee to my classes, and then if members there came in and did like open sparring outside of the classes, he would be there +1, and they would just have sparring sessions, which I thought was kosher.
Yeah.
But I won't get too much into it. But yeah, he's out, and I don't know. So I guess it was decent timing for me to move my program, anyways, because
Gotcha.
I think other people have had issues like that. But looking good.
Yeah, landed on the body here. I was super frustrated that I couldn't get my arms out or my hands out.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you try the circle?
Yeah, I was stuck.
Yeah. So sometimes we pass because it feels like what to do, but if you're getting a lot of damage there, the half guard in MMA is a good way just to hold a guy down.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll get inside and he's got more escapes and more tools from there. Sometimes you get him out, same thing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shy just to kind of chill. And if something presents itself just like that, where you can just slip in him out, okay, here we go. But I think we're looking at short time. But yeah, for him having basically 2 days of groundwork with me,
Yeah.
and being a striker, he did fantastic. And then also the weight difference. And then the interviews. This is something I've been meaning to add this for a while. How'd you feel about, I'll pause it here, or no, I'll just let it go. But every time I do the fights, I always try to add something, fix something, improve something.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel with the interviews?
I mean, I liked them. It was cool. It was definitely cool. I wasn't expecting it. I can tell I'm a little bit out of it because I'm not sure what her name is.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah.
She asked me a question. She was like, "How'd you feel about that?" I was like, "It was good." She goes, "You got a lot of takedowns." I said, "Yeah, that was good." She was like, "It was good." I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
So just like I guess lack of oxygen was making my brain not work the right way. So.
100%. Yeah. I sounded like a complete idiot. In my first fight, we went the distance. I went against a Marine, and they have great cardio. So the fight went great for me, but I'm exhausted. So the first thing they do is jam a microphone right in your face. And you're like literally like, I'm still catching my breath. Like, yeah. So I kind of wanted to give everybody that same silly experience.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But I like his answer. He also, first time, he had time to kind of compose. I like to always go to the winner, quote unquote,
right,
and just jam a mic right there.
Right.
Great performance there. I'm always trying to visualize and plan, like, what does the next one look like? I've mentioned a couple times, it could be mentioned again, that I'll move. I've been planning for a while to have mock fights float around to different gyms.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to get different blood in there. You know, there's a lot of people at Fight Flow and people that I bring in. And everybody's either kind of sparred each other a little bit or we've kind of seen each other. There's familiarity there.
Right.
And we don't have the same adrenaline response as if we get with someone who's unfamiliar.
Right.
So it's people that I've vetted or someone else has kind of vetted, hey, this guy's respectful. He's not an idiot. He's not going to elbow you in the eye or anything.
Right.
And then we'll just match up the skill levels as much as possible. Mm-hmm. But I want to have that unfamiliar vibe. And then also, Fight Flow has been home base for a period of time. And so you're so comfy on home turf.
Right.
Now everything that you felt with everybody watching you, now we're going to be in a different venue.
Right.
Now we're going to be a different spot. It's a different gym. What is this? What is that? Completely changes everything.
Absolutely.
And so I try to really get those reactions so that we can kind of get all the dumb stuff out in a mock fight before something at a higher level.
Right.
I know there's a gym in Durham, the name slips on mine, that has a full cage. A lot of my time reffing is really just keeping you guys in where you need to be.
Right.
So I'm looking for a full cage, but I'll just kind of do whatever. There might be a venue where there's no walls and it's just mat, which super sucks.
Yeah.
Cage fighting should be in a cage.
Right.
Because you'll have times like if Abin gets more comfortable and there's no cage to push somebody up onto, that's quite challenging. Like when we used to fight on the green turf.
Yeah.
That's challenging.
Oh yeah.
And then of course for me it'll be a big pain in the butt to keep people in bounds and then try to film that, be a big pain in the ass.
Absolutely. We could do it street beef style. Bring our own fence.
I've thought about stuff like that. Yeah, I thought about like, do I put a name on it, like Grassroots Combat Club or something like that, or
right.
I don't know. All the dumb stuff is definitely on the menu, but there will be a time where I'll probably have fights out there. Mm-hmm. The only issue is that the impact on takedowns, because the ground is tough.
Yeah,
I saw them put the turf down there because they added in a little separation thing, and so the fake grass turf is basically a carpet, and underneath it's just earth. Even though it feels real hard, they just compacted it real strong. So that's my apprehension, and I wonder maybe if I'm worried about the takedowns and injuries and stuff.
Yeah,
then maybe it might be standing only, which isn't exactly my vibe, but maybe it's time to grow. So backup will be out there. We had the first return to the turf Friday MMA class last night. It went really well. The number of people, the turnout was my usual number. And I just sent a text an hour before, like, hey, change of plans, we're out here.
Damn.
And for me to get a group out there is real good. And then I got twice as many people doing verbal confirmations for the following weeks, which is really good. Tons of people walking by. A lot of people from NC State came by and gave me their numbers.
Sweet.
And they're like, dude, I'm from NC State. I've been doing jits this long. I want to get MMA. I got a bunch of friends like me. I'm like, yes, sir, sign it up.
Yeah.
Bunch of guys came out. People just heading to the restaurants. We're just like, hey, I used to train. I'm trying to get back into it. I got kids. I got college kids, this and that. And so every day we're out there, it's the best advertising you possibly get.
Yeah.
That's going to grow.
Absolutely.
And if there's enough interest, instead of just doing the Fridays, I'm probably going to do, I got to look at my schedule. I got to see what the reality is. But I'm really interested in doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And it could even be something where it's like Mondays and Thursdays are more ground. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't brand it as just like a jiu-jitsu class, or maybe I would, but more of an MMA focus. Basically, take all the jiu-jitsu that we're seeing right now. Sports jiu-jitsu is getting very popular.
Right.
But they do a lot of dumb stuff like inversions where like I go upside down and your crotch is over my head and I'm all in your legs. And the entire time you're like, I would stomp you in the face. I'd take all that out.
Okay.
And so maybe more combat focused jiu-jitsu, or maybe like the last 30 minutes of the class, we have gloves on or something like that. But I might just focus as like Monday, Thursday, ground focus, Tuesday, Friday, standing focus. And since I've got that separation, I don't have to worry about the takedowns as much, even though takedowns are super important. Mm-hmm. I'll figure all that out. You can tell the wheels are turning.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I like the freedom of just being able to throw it down there.
Convenient for you too.
I can just walk. You know what's messed up? I still drive.
Do you really?
So here's the thing. It's not that. It's that I have so much crap in the car. Mm. So I've got a tie belly pad in there. I've got tie pads in there. I've got focus mitts. I've got extra gloves. I've got all that stuff. So like if I'm just carrying my gym bag, okay, yeah, whatever. But since I'm coaching a thing, and then also I'm gonna have weights out there.
Okay.
One of the things I've really liked a lot is I've got these adjustable dumbbells, and the clamps are legit. Like you could throw that thing, and like the weights aren't coming off. Oh, wow. And so I used to do a lot of dumbbell cardio type stuff. There's this thing called a Magic 50, which I've done a couple times with the guys at Fight Flow, but I want to get it back out here. Okay. I think before each class, I'm going to, there's 2 key workouts that I've liked a lot. Yeah. And one is, it's called the Magic 50, where it's 5 snatches left, right, 5 swings left, right with a dumbbell, 10 burpees, rest a minute. So if you finish at 1 minute, you look at the clock, okay, all right, when the clock hits 2 minutes, I do the next round.
Right.
5 rounds of that. And so
it's killer.
It's killer. It's low technique because you just have to be able to, put your back in a good position. Right. So low technique, I'm dealing with fighters. I'm not dealing with, people that want to be professional lifting whatevers.
Right.
So I don't want to have to teach them like a Olympic barbell snatch and like, let's just keep your back safe.
Right.
Don't need a lot of gear. Don't need a lot of technique for it. Super effective and takes, 10 to 15 minutes max. Right. And then another workout is, I stole this from Tim Kennedy when he was in the area. You mark out a distance. I don't know if it's like a 40 meter or whatever. I can look it up. But you sprint up, you sprint back, you sprint up, you sprint back, and then you bear crawl down and you burpee long jump back. That's it.
Just once?
I don't remember if we were doing it once or we were doing it like a relay where I have everybody line up. So 2 lines of dudes. Mm. First guy goes, does the whole thing, tags. Next guy goes, does the whole thing, tag, et cetera, et cetera. Gotcha. And if I had more people, just make more lines. What's cool with the dumbbell thing, because I don't want to buy any gear, is I have 2 adjustable dumbbells and I got a decent amount of weights. Mm. That could work for people because if I'm using the dumbbell, as soon as I'm done with it, you grab it. And so I'm doing burpees while you're doing dumbbells. Right. And I can have 2 or 3 people on the same dumbbell. And then if people show up late because it's a new venue, et cetera, I run those guys through the next group coming through doing it, and we're just kind of cycling and rotating. Right. But I can make a lot of people work with just a small amount of gear. Okay. And so I think
it could be awesome.
Monday, Friday could be the dumbbell, and then Tuesday, Thursday could be the sprint workout. Okay. Low gear level. Because cardio is so important, as we're obviously finding out.
Yeah.
But the other thing I like about that is if you ever travel, if you can get your hands on a 45-pound dumbbell, you can murder yourself.
Yeah, your entire workout's right there.
Right there, low skill, et cetera. So that's the game plan. And then people see us out there working out, and then we'll get a good hand on the people that just want to work out vibe.
Right.
And then from that, it's easy to walk people in. Well, you know how to throw a punch?
Right.
You want to learn? You're not that pretty. You can get hit. You know? And I'm just trying to take charge of this area. This North Hills area is the reason why I'm in Raleigh. I like everything kind of in one spot. I can see patients in North Hills. I can live here. I can walk down to the green. I can go do acro yoga on the green. I can go to one of the spots. Hopefully pretty soon I'm going to do an event with Orange Theory because they've got a special first week of November or something like that.
There's one down by the green, right? Yeah.
Right here, yeah. You got Midtown Yoga, Orange Theory, Cycle Bar. One of my models is from there, and she's had a great experience, so she's telling them about it. I'm seeing 1 to 2 people from iCryo. Okay. They're having a good experience. They're telling their folks about it. Dose Yoga is down there. And then the big one that I had a lot of success with in Texas that I'm trying to figure out how to get here a little better is I throw down these events at like big apartment complexes. Yeah. So I'll go to them and I'll say, hey, here's a free event for you. What I do is free injury assessments all day, anybody who signs up. All your staff, all your residents, whoever wants to show up, just give me a spot with moderate privacy. Clothes are staying on, but it's just kind of easier for the conversation.
Right.
So all I need is just a room that can fit a massage table. Yeah. I do free injury assessments the entire day. Yep. And then in the following days, I do a ton of treatments there. Nice. And so they like it because it's free for them. All they have to do is find a space, find a time, and then send an email to their list that I give them. Right. Done. And so I was able to do that in Texas more because I had business people who would go do that for me, and I would just show up and be doctor guy. Right. I'm trying to figure out how to do my own hustle here.
You're the event planner now.
Sucks. Too. Yeah. So when I was in San Antonio, I was with a big company, had 300 doctors. I didn't know that the internal company on an injury assessment, they want their conversion rate. If you could hit 30%, which to me is crazy low, 30%, they're like, oh my God, that's so good. My hit rate was like 100%, like literally 100%. Right. And so I went to the University of San Antonio, which was one of these. They had that event and other doctors turned it down. I was a new doctor in the area and they're like, hey, he'll do it because he's got time. Right. I went there, I saw 30 those injury assessments, I got 30 patients. And so back at headquarters, like, oh, maybe he got lucky, whatever. So they sent me back. I had 25 injury assessments. I got 25 patients. They sent me back a third time with another doctor there. I saw 20 people. 19 got on my schedule. Yeah. And so someone was like, ha, 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 you're not 100% anymore. 2 weeks later, her insurance switched to being at UTSA. Then she got on my schedule. Nice. Now, in the third one, they sent another doctor there. She was the physical therapist for the San Antonio pro soccer team or something like that. Okay. She's super legit. She's really good clinical. Yeah. I think she had like somewhere around 20 injury assessments. Yeah. And I think she got like 6 people on the schedule. So when they were going to do a fourth one, she said, oh, it's not worth my time. I can see that just in my office. I'm not going to go back. Right. And my point is I'm really good at that kind of stuff. Right. And the answer was when you sit down, make friends. Hey, what are you about? What's going on? And then, kind of like I've found clinically, and this might apply to personal training, is if somebody liked me, like genuinely, not bullshit, but if someone liked me, they will get better in my office, period. Yeah. And so just kind of make that connection, what's going on. They come in and they're like, oh, so awesome. We're through all that. What are you here for? I'm like, well, right on the inside of my elbow, every time I do this, I feel, and I'll do a couple tests and I'll just say, all right, hey, we're talking about golfer's elbow. This is what I would do to do that, or what I would do to fix it. It would take this long. Any questions you got? They're like, no, you answer. I was like, okay, we'll schedule with my girl. Right. And so the actual assessment portion was like 30 seconds or 2 minutes. It's the connection of this is the guy that I want to treat me or to treat my kid or spouse or whoever. Yeah. Doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's hard to compete with something when you go looking, like Google, you go looking for an answer, they give it to you immediately. You're going to keep using Google, or whatever your problem is. So, I mean, it does kind of translate to personal training because, someone comes in, they're like, I don't want to be fat anymore. It's like, yeah, I can help you do that. When all the AI stuff came in and Google has all these options and things like that, for people, myself and too, I'm not too far removed from personal training, you'd say, oh man, is that a rough industry? Because I can have an app that can tell me exactly what to eat. Yep. You can go on GPT right now and you can say, what should I eat? Here's my details. What should I work out? Here's this and that. Yeah. So why is personal training probably stronger now than it's ever been? Because everybody knows that they need someone to hold the accountability to make it happen. Yep. That's where the AI falls out. And so one of the reasons I'm doing all these creative endeavors, the acro, the fighting, the whatever else I'm doing, is I'm trying to lean into, one, things that are fun, and then two, things that AI can't really do right yet,
Right.
or maybe never. Because let's say if I have some kid in college and he's really good at math and he's some math whiz, that's great. You're never going to beat the computer.
Right.
So why would I even put you in the same lane as the computer? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Lean into what you find enjoying and things that computers can't do. So, personal training somebody, holding the accountability, things like that. Right. There's always going to be nerds that are going to go and do it all on the phone, and that's fine. That's not your market.
Right.
But that's what I think about. So with chiropractic, there's so much hands-on kind of stuff that kind of keeps me safe. But there's definitely a reality where in the future, let's say your shoulder's bugging you. Mm-hmm. You go on some app, you enter in all your details. Here's my health history. Here's what hurts. Here's this and that. And then you'll see a video and it'll be like, okay, raise your arm. You're like, okay, that hurts at this angle. Okay, all right, do this test, do that test, Okay, this is what it is. Right. And so we're seeing it now that the computers can do diagnosis, and probably better than a doctor. Because if I've read 7 orthopedic textbooks on the shoulder, mm-hmm. the computer read them all.
Right.
Every study, everything, all the time, et cetera. Every doctor that's ever put up a thing. Yeah. I'm not going to compete with that. And doctors have a good day. Doctors have a bad day. I might have slept last night, not this and that. I consider myself pretty good. It's like if I wanted to get treated, I want me to treat myself.
Right.
Which is usually my measure of good. But the diagnosis can be replaced by AI. However, the treatment side, I remember when the first Tesla factory opened up, Elon was walking a reporter through there and he's showing how there's a big automation, robots are doing everything. Yeah. And there's this one guy, he's like, this is Jose. His job is to grab a dangly hose and stick it where it goes. And he'll have a job here for the rest of his life because it will take 50 years of PhD projects to get a robot that can do what he does. Because dangling things, movement's very difficult.
Yeah.
A dangly hose that could be anywhere, stick it on just right, not too much force, don't snap it off, very difficult. Yeah. So if it comes to the point of like adjusting a human spine or doing like muscle work or something like that, that part of chiropractic is pretty safe.
Right.
For a very long time.
Intricate stuff.
Yeah, right. You push too hard on someone's neck and then you hear a crack and they're not moving and it's not the chiropractic crack. Yeah.
Right.
Stuff like that. So that gives me some confidence there. And then I guess the last part of it is I had an assistant in Texas, mm-hmm. and she always got 5 stars out of 5 on her reviews, and everybody loved her all the time. In fact, on her reviews, she get mentioned more than me just because she's just super bubbly, the perfect person.
Right.
Now, when we discharged people because their injury was done, I'd always kind of ask them questions. Hey, how did everything go? How are you feeling? Give it a second. But let's see. So I always ask everybody, how did you feel? How's the experience? And she's 5 out of 5 stars. Everything's great, etc. I'd always ask them and say, if your cost was cut in half or cut down by like $20,
sure,
and instead of in-person PT, we send you an email with the videos and tells you everything that you need to do, what would you choose? Every single patient said, hey, she's fantastic. We're probably going to be friends after this. We're probably going to work out together, etc. But cost is this, and right now in the economy, the answer was always the video. Even though literally she couldn't have been better. Like I'm not exaggerating that.
Yeah.
And so the takeaway from that is there's going to be an AR replacement, but it's once people kind of get used to that, it's going to slide right back into your experience of personal training.
Right.
I know the patients will say that they would prefer that. However, I also know that the chance of them doing their exercises, it's the opposite of skyrocket. They just completely plummet if it's an email. Because I can see if they open the email, I can see if they open the video, I can see how long they watch the video, I can see this and this and this.
Right.
And then on the next visit, because we've tried these models, on the next visit, I'll say, hey, how did everything go? Like, I'm feeling better, pain's 50% removed, I can do all these motions, etc. I say, okay, how's the rehab? Rehab's going great. Okay, show me what you've been doing.
Right.
And they're, well, I used to do the kind of look like the. And I was like, you didn't open the emails. I can see it. Like,
you didn't watch my video.
From day one, I told you that I'm going to shoot straight with you. You got to shoot straight with me. If you didn't do the video, I get it. You're an adult. I'm an adult. I'm going to give you the best information, and you're going to do what you can do.
Right.
But we got to be on the same page.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, Sarah, I'll get better with it. I didn't do as much as I should. Like, yeah, there's no fluff. I'm going to give you the information. You're going to do what you need to do.
Right.
But if I have a human actually do the assistant portion and take them their exercises, it gets done. They get better. It goes faster, and
Right.
we can see that in our stats.
Right.
So that's a long way to say that people still important.
Still hold the key.
Yeah. For you, you could do something similar. Trying to approach employers, trying to approach bigger things. You know, whether it's like a resident area,
Yeah.
I find things that you don't compete with. So if you go to Orange Theory and you're like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, then you're like, either sign up and be an employee or get the hell out of here.
Right. Right.
So I find things that I don't compete with that would complement, but you could find something like that and do events. I'm trying to keep everything lightweight. I can just show up with a table, but I don't want to like be driving all, I go 20 minutes this way in Raleigh, then 40 minutes back that way. And
Yeah.
I want to show up to a large employer or to like a residence place where I can just set up once.
Yeah.
And then we're just rolling through.
People are rolling through that door, and you can see everything and talk to whoever you need to.
Yeah. And so I feel like you could do a lot of similar things with the training.
Yeah. There's a place out in Durham. It's called Archetype Strength, where it's a giant facility, but same thing. You just go in, you're like, hey, I want to use your space, and they're like, all right, rent.
Yeah.
So
you felt that it would be better for you to have a permanent spot than to just rent out a couple hours here and there.
Whatever. I'm not gonna.
I got some questions. I'll do it off air.
Right.
Anything else to wrap this up? Because I got some specific stuff we can talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, man. I think I'm good. Appreciate you having me.
Dude, it's fun, man. I'm having tons of fun with this. Let me wrap this, and we'll continue what we're talking about. All right, talk for me.
Hello.